Imagine a team that's so bad at shooting, passing, tackling, goalkeeping, and now imagine that same team defeating opponent after opponent until there's no one left to beat. Well, that's exactly the journey we're about to begin, because UCD AFC is the worst team in FC 24, and we're gonna find out if they can take over the world. So here's our world map, and this is where we find UCD AFC, or UCD Dublin. So we'll begin by spinning this arrow, and it points northeast. Then we'll head back to our map and draw an arrow pointing northeast, and over in that direction we've got St. Patrick's. Then we'll head over to FC 24 and sim this match against St. Pat's. Oh, and this is what our starting 11 looks like. Absolutely dismal, but we somehow managed to win our first match. Then we come back to our map and take over St. Patrick's land. Now, since we're the worst team, we're gonna need a lot of help conquering the world, which is why we also have this wheel. It has our starting 11 players plus our substitutes, and the player that it lands on will receive a +3 overall upgrade, and that player ends up being Ghiellini, who's also our highest rated player. He goes up to a 63 overall. Now, what would have happened if we had lost the match? Well, we would have spun the wheel again, and instead of gaining 3 overall, the player would actually lose 3 overall. So the more we win, the stronger we get, and the more we lose, the worse team will remain, I guess. But there's also one more thing. If we lose 5 matches in a row at any point, that's where we're gonna have to end the video. That's where we lose the challenge. But for now, let's keep attacking, and the next direction of attack is southwest. And southwest from our logo is Cork City. They're the perfect team to get a second win against, and we end up beating them 2-0. Now, this win is really important because this is our second win in Ireland, as we take over quite a bit of land here. And also, I'm moving our logo where Cork City's logo used to be, because this is where we'll base our next attack from. Now, because there are over 700 teams on this map, it would take forever to get through them all. So to speed things up, there's one more rule I have to tell you guys about, and that's winning 4 matches in one particular country leads to automatic conquest without having to play all the remaining teams. Now, things will be a little bit different when we get to a multi-league nation like England, because in England we would have to beat a team from EFL League 2, League 1, the Championship, and the Premier League. So this could happen in 4 matches, or this could happen in 12 matches. That all depends on where the arrow points. And then in a country like France, where there's 2 divisions, we could fulfill the 4-win requirement with 3 wins against Ligue 2 sides, and then only 1 win against the Ligue 1 side. And also, as a reward for conquering a country, the entire team will get a +1 overall boost. Hopefully everything I said makes sense, but for now, for the Cork City win, the +3 goes to Osam, our left back. He goes from 56 to 59 overall. And now for our third match, the direction of attack is north, and north of us, it's the mighty Shamrock Rovers. They're the only 1.5-star side in Ireland, and we lose this match 3-2. So unfortunately, that's our first loss, which means one player will receive a -3 downgrade, and that's gonna be our right midfielder, Behan. He goes from a 56 to a 53. So now our next direction of attack will again be north. With Behan downgraded to 53, we win it on penalties against Shamrock. I mean, this was a massive win. Shamrock's gone, we take over their land, and the player to receive a +3 upgrade is Wells. So our 55 rated center back goes up to a 58. Now the arrow has to point north, but it doesn't. It pointed southeast, and southeast of our logo, we find Plymouth Argyle. So that's going to be a tough match for us, a 2.5-star side. But we pull off a miracle upset. We win at 1-0, which means we get to erase Plymouth from the map. Ireland conquest will have to take a break. I still can't believe we just beat them in 1 go, and the next player to get an upgrade is O'Connor. O'Connor's only 17 years old. He's the lowest rated player we have, along with Isakor. They're both 49 overall, but O'Connor now goes up to 52. So these 2 young lads will be on a mission to break into the starting 11. I think that's the beauty of having them included in the wheel, and the next direction of attack is northwest. So following this arrow from our current position, it looks like we're gonna try to conquer Ireland with a match against Shelburne, because this is our 4th match against an Irish side, and we conquer Ireland on penalties. So by erasing Shelburne from the map, we get to conquer the entirety of Ireland, including Northern Ireland, since Derry City are in the Irish League. So 1 country down, many more left to go. And as you'll remember, the reward for conquering a country is a +1 overall upgrade to every single player. So our squad goes from looking like this to this. I'd say he looks a little happier. Besides the +1 upgrade, we still have to give a +3 to a specific player for the win, and it goes to Brennan. So our starting 11 cam goes from a 56 to a 59. Despite all these upgrades, we're still a half-star team, but I think at this point we're not the worst anymore. So we have to keep winning and improving, and our next direction of attack is northwest. And it looks like northwest of us, we only have Iceland, which is completely empty FC since there are no Icelandic teams in FC24. So in this case, we take over Iceland and we'll spin the wheel again for a +1 upgrade. And that upgrade goes to Keane. So the next Roy Keane goes from a 57 to a 58. Now the next direction we're going to be attacking in is west. And slightly southwest from our position in Iceland, we hit Greenland. So we also get to take over Greenland and move our logo there. And the next player to receive a +1 upgrade is O'Connor. He goes to a 54 overall. And the next direction of attack from Greenland is west again. And over in that direction, we find the MLS side Montreal. I think it's too early to be attacking MLS sides. Montreal's 2.5 stars. We're hoping for a miracle. And we get one! Kinsella Bishop scores in the 75th and we win it 2-1. Our team seems to know how to play against 2.5 star sides. So we move into North America here. And all we need is 3 more wins to take over the entire continent. But first, let's see which direction we're attacking. And it's north. And north from our logo, we hit Toronto FC. They're a little bit better than Montreal. And we beat them 3-1. Guys, it's unbelievable how well we're doing. I'm not staging this. It's insane. We got 2 wins in a row. Toronto FC is out. We're not messing around in MLS. Now, the next player to get a +3 is Higgins. He goes from a 55 to a 58. And now our next direction of attack is west. And west of us is another Canadian team. It's Vancouver. Now, the Whitecaps are a 3-star side. And we lose to the Whitecaps in extras. This means one player will get a -3. And it ends up being Isakor. The kid goes from a 50 to a 47. And now our next direction of attack is southwest. And southwest from the center of our logo, we hit Minnesota. They're also a 3-star side. And we also lose this match 3-1. And the player to lose -3 overall is going to be Dignam. He goes from a 55 to a 52. Now, we've lost 2 matches in a row. The next direction of attack is northwest, which means we have to play the Whitecaps again. Remember, if we lose 5 matches in a row, we fail the challenge. And this time, we beat Vancouver 3-2 in extra time, which means we've conquered all of Canada with this win. But remember, we still need 1 more win against an MLS side. That way, we'll be able to conquer the United States as well. And the next direction of attack is west. Since this is Alaska, Seattle Sounders has that territory as well. Now, the Sounders are a 3.5 star side. But I just realized we forgot about the +3 upgrade, and that goes to our goalkeeper Moore. He goes up from 57 to 60, and now against the Sounders, we lose 4-1. So the player to be downgraded is Dignam again. He goes down to a 49 overall. And now our next direction of attack is east, which means we have to go all the way back to Europe. Drawing this line, it leads to Scotland, St. Mirren. So this is good news. St. Mirren's 1.5 stars. And we beat them 4-2 in extra time again. So we bring this logo all the way back to Europe. We erase St. Mirren from the map and we take our first piece of land from Scotland. The player to be rewarded is Gallagher, our right back. He goes from 57 to 60. And now the next direction of attack is northwest. And from our position in St. Mirren, northwest of us, we find Ross County. They're also a 1.5 star side. And we beat them 1-0. Moving along nicely in Scotland, we take over quite a bit of land here. And the next player to get a +3 here is Keane. He goes up to a 61 overall. And now our next direction of attack is southeast. And southeast from our current position is St. Johnston. We've lucked out in Scotland so far. It's another 1.5 star side. And we beat them 2-1. So far, so good in Scotland. 3-4-3. And the next +3 goes to Barr. It's too bad our striker hasn't received any upgrades. Barr's a substitute. He's 55. He goes up to a 58. And now the next direction of attack is south, slightly west. So from our logo, we hit Motherwell. Motherwell's another 1.5 star side. So if we win this match, this will be our 4th win, which means we'll get to conquer the whole nation. But we fall short. Motherwell wins at 1-0, which unfortunately means a -3 for Barr. He goes back down to a 55. And now the next direction we're attacking is southeast. So instead of Motherwell, we'll be facing Livingston. Livingston's also 1.5 stars. And we win the match 2-1. And this means we erase Livingston from the map, as well as all the other Scottish teams. Rangers, Celtic, we didn't have to play against them. Aberdeen up north. We get rid of all of these teams and conquer our second country, which also means the whole team gets a +1 upgrade. And besides everybody getting a +3, Osam will get a +3 as well. Our left back goes up to a 64 overall. And now from our position in Scotland, the next direction of attack is east. So it looks like we're going to be heading somewhere into Scandinavia. I drew the straight line and it skips Norway, it skips Denmark, and we're going into Sweden. This is Gothenburg. They're a 2-star side, and we lose to them on penalties, which means it's time for a downgrade, and that downgrade goes to Clancy, and our substitute center back goes down to a 53. Now, the way the upgrades and the downgrades are going so far, far. I'm really curious to see what everything's gonna look like at the very end. But let's see what our next direction of attack is. And it's southeast. And southeast from our current position in Scotland, we've got Newcastle United. It would be a miracle to beat Newcastle. I don't know about you, but I'm really excited to sim this match. 3, 2, 1, and we beat them! We win! Kinsella Bishop with 2 goals. We beat them in extras. I mean, I don't know how often this would happen in real life, but in FC24 or FIFA, you get these kinds of results, and we've taken out a Premier League side here. Now, all the arrow needs to do is point south, because I think we've got a Championship Sunderland here. There's a Carlisle United that's probably in EFL League 2 or 1, but I hope Kinsella Bishop gets a +3 here, but it goes to Doyle. So Jake Doyle goes up to 57 overall. And now from our position in Northern England, we have to attack south, and over in that direction we find Sunderland. Sunderland is 3 stars, and we beat them in extras as well. Kinsella Bishop, man, he's so clutch at extra time. Now both Newcastle sides are gone. We move further south. Now because Sunderland was a championship side, we still need a win against an EFL League 2 side and an EFL League 1 side. That's the only way we can complete the conquest of England. And Keane gets a +3 here. He's slowly on his way to become the next Roy Keane. He goes up to a 65. And now our direction of attack is still south but west, and southwest of us is Morecambe. Morecambe is in EFL League 2, and we beat them 2-0. We've been on a good run lately. We take over Morecambe's land, and at this rate we might conquer England pretty soon. The next player to receive an upgrade is Doyle. He goes up to a 60 overall, meaning he's now rated higher than Kinsella Bishop, so he breaks into the starting 11, and all we now need is an EFL League 1 side. The arrow points south, and over in that direction we've got Accrington Stanley. Too bad they're also an EFL League 2 side, but we beat them 2-1. And now from this position, we've got Burnley, a championship side. Blackburn's another championship side. Salford's here. So this is actually a good thing because we get a +3 for Behan. He goes up to a 58. And now our next direction of attack is west. And west of us, we've got the Blackburn Rovers. And we lose 2-0. Now, as a result, Kinsella Bishop goes down by 3 overall. The wheel is punishing our former starter. He's a 55 now. And now our next direction of attack is northeast. And over in that direction, we've got Burnley. And we beat Burnley 2-1. I mean, I was thinking if we kept going east and west, we might lose 5 in a row here, but luckily we beat Burnley. And it's also good because Isakor's getting a +3. I mean, it's not the best upgrade as he goes up to a 51, but we gotta give all the youngsters a fair chance. They're looking to break into the starting 11. And this time our direction of attack is southeast. This is a fairly close one, but I think the arrow points towards Bradford City. Too bad they're also an EFL League 2 side. And we win the match 4-3 in extra time. And the +3 here goes to Bab, who goes up to 59 overall. Now our next direction of attack is southeast, and over in that direction we've got Huddersfield. Huddersfield are a championship side, and we lose the match 3-0. It's been a bit up and down here. Downgrade, upgrade, now a downgrade again, and it's Bab again. What an inconsistent player. He goes back down to 56. And now the next direction of attack here is southwest, and it doesn't really seem to matter because it's Huddersfield again. And this time we lose it 3-2. It's gonna be a second downgrade in a row, and it goes to Bar, and Bar goes from a 56 to a 53. Now, is it gonna be Huddersfield again? And it's southwest, same direction. And we lose a third match in a row to Huddersfield, and the player to receive the next downgrade is Kinsella Bishop. The unlucky striker goes down to a 52. Now, if you remember the rule, if we lose 5 in a row, that's where the video ends. So we've lost 3 so far, which means we really need to win the next one. Hopefully it's not Huddersfield again, and the direction of attack is west. Well, it's also slightly north, so we have to play Barrow. Too bad they're also in EFL League 2. And we lose our 4th match in a row. Barrow takes this one 4-1. So the next one we have to win, otherwise the video ends, and Moore gets a -3. Our goalkeeper is now 58 overall. Now this spin is very critical. The next direction of attack is northeast. And northeast of us is Harrogate Town by a hair. They're only slightly rated higher than we are. We have to win here. And it's a win, 3-1. Our striker Doyle with the brace. Brennan got the first goal. Now that was a close one. Harrogate Town we erased from the map, but we're now in the middle of 3 championship sides, which is not that good. At least we finally get to upgrade a player, and that player is Wells. He goes up to a 63 overall. And now the direction we're attacking is north, so that's Middlesbrough. They're gonna be tough to beat, and we lose a 4-1. So it's yet another downgrade, and that downgrade goes to Bab. He's now rated 53 overall. We have to force force our way out of here somehow, and it's Middlesbrough again. And this time we lose 3-0, and the downgrade goes to Norris. He also goes down to 53, which means it's time for a change because Higgins can play left mid, Brennan can play center mid, and then the youngster O'Connor can become our starting center attacking midfielder. Hopefully the changes will be enough for us to get a win. We get Northwest here, and unfortunately this still hits Middlesbrough, and we finally get the win in extras. O'Connor got his first goal in his first start, and we can finally erase Middlesbrough from the map, take over their land, and the +3 overall upgrade will go to our goalkeeper, so he goes back up to a 61 overall. And now we just need an EFL League 1 side, but we get Southeast, which means we have to play another championship side, Hull City. Conquering England has been tough, but luckily we beat Hull City. Doyle scored both of our goals, so this is a good thing because I think Grimsby Town is in EFL League 1. I could be mistaken, but we've also got Doncaster here. It all depends on where the arrow will be pointing though, and it points northwest, and over in that direction we've got Carlisle United, and Carlisle is in fact an EFL League 1 side. So if we win this match, we get to conquer England, and we win it on penalties. O'Connor scored in the 81st to force extra time, and we win it on penalties. O'Connor also scored the first goal, so we get to erase Carlisle United from the map, and this also completes our conquest of England. Now we can either move back into North America where we just need one win, or move somewhere else into Europe. But first I realized I forgot an upgrade for the Hull City win, so the player to get upgraded is Norris. He goes back up to 56, and for the win against Carlisle, the upgrade goes to Keane, and he goes up to 68. And for our conquest of England, the whole squad goes up by 1 overall. Now, even though Norris is higher rated than O'Connor, I'm gonna keep O'Connor in the starting 11. That lineup has done well, and our next direction of attack is east, and it looks like over in that direction we're heading into the Netherlands. This is Excelsior. Oh, and also with all these upgrades, we're finally a 1-star team. We finally gained that half-star upgrade. Excelsior are a 2-star side, and we beat them on penalties, and we successfully make entry into mainland Europe. The +3 upgrade goes to our striker Doyle. He's now rated 64 overall, and our next direction in the Netherlands is southwest, and southwest of us this is Sparta Rotterdam. They are a 2.5-star side, and we lose it in extras, so that is unfortunate. We were on a good run, and Moore gets a -3. He goes down to 59. And now our next direction of attack is north, and north of us is Ajax. Hopefully their bad season somehow translates into this match, but it doesn't. We lose 4-1. So with our second loss in a row, the next player to get a downgrade is Norris. He goes down to 54, and now we have to attack southeast, and it looks like we have to play Feyenoord. They're just as strong, and we lose this one as well. So this is our third loss in a row, and the -3 goes to Dignam. He'll now be rated 48 overall. Hopefully we get an easier team next, and it's West. Now this is a little interesting because west from this arrow, there's actually no teams. It actually goes through the Pacific Ocean to somewhere in the other side of the world. So we'll just count this as Sparta, and we finally get the win, 3-2. Goodbye to Sparta Rotterdam. I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. I'm not sure, but the player to get a +3 upgrade is our goalkeeper. Moore goes back up to 62. Now all we need in the Netherlands is 2 more wins. Our next direction of attack is south, and that's pretty good news because we've got this team, Valwijk. They're only a 2-star side, and we beat them in extra time, so that makes it 2 wins in a row here. And also now we're just north of Belgium, so we could go into Belgium as well. We've got PSV Feyenoord. They're the much tougher Dutch opponents, but first we have to give a boost to O'Connor. He goes up to 59 overall. Now let's find out if we're attacking Belgium or the Netherlands, and we get southeast, and this means we're headed into Belgium attacking Mechelen. They are a 2.5-star side, and we lose 3-2. And the player to get a downgrade is Norris. This kid has been so unlucky. He goes down to a 51. And now our next direction of attack is gonna be north, and it's slightly west, but it still hits Feyenoord. And if we somehow win this match, we'll get to take over the Netherlands, and we win it on penalties. It ended 3-all, and then we won it 7-6 on penalties. And look how it ended. Jimenez missed the penalty. Stengs put them ahead, and then O'Connor tied things up right before the final whistle. Stengs put them up again, and then Doyle scored to send this into extras where Jimenez missed, Doyle missed, Paixão missed. A lot of misses, and then a lot of penalties got scored, and then we ultimately won it. So we erased Feyenoord from the map. We beat a tough side in the Netherlands. We're gonna move our logo there, and we also get to erase every other team in the Netherlands, and in one massive move, we take over the country. Now first we have to give a +3 overall upgrade to Higgins. He goes up to 63 overall, and of course everybody else in the squad gets +1 overall. Keane and Keeney, they're now now rated 70 overall. But despite all this, we're still a 1-star side. And now our next direction of attack is going to be south. And over in that direction, we've got Antwerp. Antwerp's a 3.5-star side. And we lose this match 5-3 in extra time. That's one wild result. And the player to receive a downgrade is Higgins. And he goes down to 61. And now our next direction of attack is east. And over in that direction, we've got Hanover. Hanover 96 is a 3-star Bundesliga 2 side. And we get the win. So our first attack into Germany is successful after 2 losses in Belgium. And now we move northeast to Hanover. The player to receive an upgrade here is O'Connor. He goes up to 63 overall. And remember, this kid started at 49 overall, just like Izakor, but he's up to 63. Izakor's only gone up by 1 overall since we've begun. So I think that makes O'Connor our most improved player. And we have to attack southwest. From this position in Germany, southwest of us is this team. Preußen Münster is a 1.5-star side. And we beat them 2-1 in extra time. So now with this win, we move back down south. And this is a very risky move, especially if we keep attacking southeast. Because Schalke probably wouldn't be able to get 5 wins in a row on us. But there is Dortmund right here and Bayer Leverkusen. Oh, and by the way, Münster was in the 3rd division in Germany, as Behan gets a +3 here. He also goes up to 63 overall. And now our next direction of attack is northeast. Well, over northeast from the center of our logo is Bochum. They're a Bundesliga side in FC 24. And we managed to beat them 1-0. The next Roy Keane, Dara Keane, was the man of the match. So that's good, which means we just need one more win in Germany to take over the entire country. And I think the easiest opponent we have is right here, Essen. But right now, the next +3 overall boost goes to Bar, which is kind of fitting because he just scored the game-winning goal. So he goes up to 58 overall. And now our next direction of attack is east. And even though it's slightly south, we're still hitting Werder Bremen. They're also in the Bundesliga in FC 24. And our winning streak comes to an end here. And the -3 downgrade goes to Clancy. He goes down to 52 overall. And now our next direction of attack is southwest. We get lucky here because we're barely avoiding Dortmund. We have to attack Schalke. But Schalke is also a 3.5-star side. And we also lose, this time in extras. And that's very unfortunate. 2 downgrades in a row, and this time the downgrade goes to Higgins. He goes down to 58 overall. And now hopefully the arrow points in our favor this time. It gives us northeast, which means we have to play Werder Bremen again. And we fail to beat them for a 2nd time. So this was our 3rd loss and 3rd downgrade in a row. And the downgrade goes to Bab. He goes down from 55 to 52. We really need a win. The next direction of attack is west, which means it looks like we're gonna leave Germany alone for now. As you can see, I drew this long line right in the middle of this arrow, and it pointed all the way to the Seattle Sounders. Remember, we only need one more win against an MLS side to take over the United States, but Seattle's also one of the best teams in the MLS, so we need a miracle here. 3, 2, 1, and we lose. So this is the first time we lost 4 matches in a row as Osam receives a -3. He goes down to a 63 overall. So we really need the arrow to work in our favor. It gives us north and it's slightly west. It looks like we're going to be attacking Viking here. I did have to double check and it is Viking indeed by a hair. Viking are a 2-star side and we have to win this match, otherwise it's all over. So either we keep going or it's all over. And we keep going. O'Connor tied things up in the 80th. Brennan scored the winner. And we survived to fight another day. UCD Dublin takes over Vikings land. And more importantly, we get away from Germany, where we almost lost it. And Doyle gets a +3. He goes up to 68. And now our next direction of attack is southwest. Now we're going back across the water, but into a new country, because this is Dunkirk. They're a 1.5-star Ligue 2 side. And our French conquest starts with a 3-1 win. Doyle tied things up and O'Connor had 2 goals in extra to get us the win. So hopefully the wheel lands on one of those 2 players, but it lands on Gallagher. So our right back goes up to 66 overall. Now from this position in France, south of us are 2 Ligue 1 sides, Lens and Lille. And now our next direction of attack is southwest. So this looks like it's good news because it might actually hit Cannes. Well, actually we missed them. So we're going straight through the English Channel all the way across the Atlantic. And we're gonna have to play against Charlotte. If we beat Charlotte, we get to take over the United States. And we managed to get the win. We've come a long way. Our logo looks pixelated at this point. We erase Charlotte from the map and take over their land. And we move back into North America. And with one snap of the finger, the United States ours. And a +3 for the win goes to Keane. The man who started at 57 overall is now 73 rated. And for the conquest, everyone gets upgraded by +1 overall. Now our next direction of of attack from North America is south. So our team just said might as well just take over Mexico since we've come all this way, and we'll move further south. And you'll remember for taking land, one player gets a +1, and that's O'Connor. So he goes up to 65 overall. And the next direction from here is southwest. But over that way, we've only got the Pacific Ocean. I mean, technically, I think it would land somewhere in Australia, but we're just gonna keep things simple and spin the arrow again, and we get southeast. So this now works in our favor because we get to conquer this next piece of land that's empty, and this is Guatemala. So the next player to receive a +1 is Dignam. Our substitute winger goes to 51 overall. And now this time the arrow points south, which means we now take over El Salvador, and this +1 upgrade goes to Osam. He goes up to 65 overall. Now because this piece of land is surrounded by us, we're gonna automatically take it over. That's Belize, but we're gonna keep our team here. We'll base our next attack from El Salvador. But for taking over Belize, we also get that +1, which goes to Wells. He goes up to 67 overall. The reason I keep spinning the arrow is because we could directly go into South America, but we get southeast. It's mostly east, so we take over Honduras here. And the next +1 goes to Wells again. Lucky guy goes up to 68 overall. Now, despite all these upgrades, we're still a 1-star team, although our defense is now rated 65 overall. And if the arrow keeps pointing south, we'll be good. But it points north. However, in that direction, there's nobody. So I have to keep spinning this arrow until we can actually go somewhere in the south, slightly west, but it still hits Nicaragua. So we take over that country. And this time, the next +1 goes to Keene. What a lucky guy. He goes up to 75 overall. And this brings us to 1.5 stars. It feels so satisfying every time we go up by half a star. I wonder by the end of the video if we'll be able to reach 4 stars or even 5 stars maybe. Now let's keep going with the arrow, and it points southeast. To our luck, over there is Costa Rica. So we take over that country as well. Move further south. The next +1 upgrade goes to Norris. He's been one of the unluckier players. He goes up to 54. And now our next direction of attack is south again, but we're not going to be able to take over Panama because we're going across the water where we barely touched this team, UCV. They're a 2-star side, and this is the first derby of the match, UCD versus UCV. UCV apparently stands for Universidad Cesar Vallejo, and they win the match 3-1. Whoever Noronha is seems to be a smart student. So after all those upgrades, one player, Keene, gets unlucky. He goes down to 72. And now our next direction of attack is southeast, and over southeast we've got Panama. So this pretty much completes the Central American conquest apart from these Caribbean islands. But in any case, we have to give a +1 to one of our players, and that's Issaquah. He goes up to 52 overall. Now the next direction of attack is north. It's slightly northwest, but we'll count this as Cuba. So we take over Cuba now. This is good news for us because we keep getting upgrades, and the upgrade goes to Bab. He moves up to 54 overall. And now from Cuba, we're attacking southeast, which is great because in that direction we've got Haiti, which means it's another +1 upgrade, and that goes to Higgins. So Higgins is now 60 overall. And now from our position in Haiti, the arrow points slightly east but north. It doesn't really matter because we've got the Dominican Republic over there, which means we unify this island by removing the border, and the +1 from the Dominican Republic goes to Keene. So he goes up to 73 overall. And now at this point, I realize this is Puerto Rico, so we'll count that as the United States. We already had that. And then as for Jamaica, we'll say that we've surrounded them, so we'll just take them over now to make everything more simple. So we'll get that +1 going to Bab. He goes up to 55 overall. And now the arrow has to point either south or east. It points southeast, and from our position in Jamaica, we get to attack Junior in Colombia. Junior is a pretty decent side, and we lose 3-2, which is really unfortunate because now Kinsella Bishop receives a -3. He goes down to 52 overall. And now we get to try once again, and it points south. But because it's slightly west this time, we'll call it Atlético Nacional. They're also a 3-star side. And we lose this one by the same score in the last minute. So it's 2 losses in a row, and Doyle gets a downgrade. Our starting striker goes down to 66. And if you're wondering, this is what our lineup looks like right now. The substitutes have received most of the downgrades, which is good. Although I wish Higgins was in the mid-60s. We don't really have a good backup winger. And unfortunately for Kinsella Bishop, he's all the way down to 52 as well. So Issaquah is a 52. These reserves don't get played, by the way, so we're not touching them. But let's keep trying. Let's see if we can finally win a match in South America. It's the same exact direction, so we're gonna call it Atlético Nacional again. And this time we win it 3-2. So we avoid a 3rd loss in a row, and we take over Atlético Nacional's land. We finally entered South America, and the player to be rewarded is gonna be Wells. He goes goes up to 71. And now our next direction of attack is east. So the team next door is Independiente Medellin. They're also 3 stars. And we beat them 3-1. O'Connor had 2 goals. They missed a penalty. O'Connor's been a machine. He scored a lot of goals. And Moore here gets the upgrade. We'll pretend he saved the penalty. He goes up to 67. 2 more wins in Colombia will allow us to conquer the country. We get south. But first, let's take over Medellin here. And slightly southwest from us is Águilas Doradas. It's yet another 3-star side. And we beat them as well. After 2 losses in a row, we said no more. So we're on a good run in Colombia. This is our 3rd win in a row. And Kinsella Bishop receives the +3. He goes back up to 55. And now all we're going to need is 1 more win in Colombia. Let's see where the arrow points, and it points southwest. And over in that direction, we've got Deportivo Pereira. They're also a Colombian side. And it's conquest complete. Doyle with 2 goals. We win it 3-2. What an unbelievable streak in Colombia. There's 4 other teams that we automatically erase, and then we take over all of these regions. And that's the end of the Colombian conquest. So the player to first receive the +3 is Bihan. He goes up to 67 overall. And then everybody else in the team goes up by 1 overall. I think our chances of taking over our second continent in the world is quite high. So let's keep going. Let's make this team a 2-star side. It's southeast, and southeast from the center of our logo, we hit a Brazilian side. It's Goiás. They're a 3-star side, and we lose it on penalties. So unfortunately, our win streak ends at 4, and Higgins gets a -3. He goes down to 58. It's just a minor setback. The next direction of attack is southeast again, and this time we beat Goiás 3-0. I mean, what a response. Look at all this land we're gonna take over now. That was almost like half of Brazil as we move further southeast, and the player to receive a +3 is Doyle, which means we now have a 70 rated striker. Now our next opponent is going to be towards the southeast once again, and southeast of us in that direction we've got Red Bull Bragantino. Now they're one of the toughest teams we've seen lately, and we lose it 3-2. So unfortunately, Bar gets a -3. He goes down to 57, and the arrow points north this time. And over to the north we've got Fortaleza. Fortaleza are also a 3.5-star side, but we managed to beat them 6-5 on penalties. It ended 3-all. We started by missing 2 penalties, but then scored 6 straight to win it. So now with this win, I think we take over the entire Amazon forest. We also move our logo northeast. We need 2 more wins in Brazil as Clancy receives a +3. He goes up to 57. Now our next direction of attack is southeast. I think our arrow goes this way, but we'll just call this America MG. They're a 3-star side, and we beat them 3-1. Doyle scored 2 goals to win it for us. Man, Doyle, what a player he turned out to be. He started as a substitute, if you'll remember, as we take over our 3rd piece of land in Brazil. The +3 upgrade goes to Bar, so he goes back up to 60. And now our next direction of attack is northwest. So it looks like we're gonna leave Brazil alone for the moment, as we're gonna be attacking Monagas. Monagas are a 2-star Venezuelan side, and we win this match 2-1. Doyle scoring both goals again. Let's see if he's gonna be the player to receive the upgrade. No, it goes to our keeper, which is still a really good upgrade as Moore goes up to 71. So we move back up north, take over Monagas's land. We've now got a few countries that we've actually surrounded, so we'll take them over right now. 1, 2, 3, which means we now get to spin the wheel 3 times. So Behan gets a +1. He goes up to 69. The second spin lands on Brennan. He goes up to 65. And the third spin lands on Moore. So our goalkeeper goes up to 72. And now our next direction of attack is northwest. So over in that direction, we've got Metropolitanos. They're a 2-star side. And we beat them 2-1 with the newly upgraded Brennan and Behan getting the goals. This makes it 2 wins in Venezuela for us. And honestly, the best part about winning is spinning this wheel. Keane gets an upgrade. This guy's on his way to becoming the first club legend. He moves up to 77. And now our next direction of attack is west. And west of us, we've got Caracas FC. Caracas are also a 2-star side, and we beat them 3-1 on penalties. This makes it 3 in Venezuela. All we need is 1 more win. Let's shuffle the wheel. Let's see if Keane keeps getting lucky. The next player to receive an upgrade is Clancy. He goes up to 60 overall. Now let's see if the arrow will point west again. It does, which is really incredible. We've got Estudiantes de Merida. Looks like this is going to be our second inter-university match. And we beat them 1-0 in the 89th minute with Doyle scoring the goal. 4 wins in a row in Venezuela. So we get rid of all these teams here as we complete the takeover of Venezuela. We've pretty much got almost half of South America. The player to receive the +3 is Gallagher. He goes up to 71 overall. And as you know, every other player goes up by 1 overall for the conquest. And with with all these upgrades, we're now officially a 2-star side. Now, as a 2-star side, our first direction of attack is southwest. So it looks like we're headed into Ecuador. This is LDU Quito. They're a 3-star university team, and we lose 4-0. Maybe they were an 8-star team. I don't know. But Norris gets a downgrade. He goes down to 53. And next, the arrow points southwest again. And it's going to be the same team. And we lose once again. This time, Ghiellini receives the downgrade, going down to a 70 overall. And this time, the arrow points southwest, but it's at a slightly different angle. So instead, we're going to be attacking UCV. We've previously lost to this team, if you'll remember. But this time, we win it 2-0. We get our revenge. So this is the first piece of land we get in Peru as well. We move further southwest. The player to receive an upgrade is our goalkeeper. He goes up to 76 overall. And now our next direction of attack from here is east. I mean, even though it's slightly south, we're still missing all these countries in South America, and we're heading into Africa. Looks like we're going to be taking over Angola. So we say goodbye to South America for now. Let the upgrades begin. It's a +1 to Clancy. He goes up to 62 overall. Our next direction is north, and north of us is Angola. I made a mistake. This is Namibia. So we now take over Angola, and the +1 goes to Ghiellini. He goes up to 71. And our next direction of attack is northeast. And over in that direction, we've got the Democratic Republic of Congo. So this is another huge chunk of land. And the player to receive an upgrade is Bab. He goes up to 57. And now the next direction is northeast. And we hit Rwanda. And the upgrades continue. The +1 goes to Higgins. He goes up to 60. And from Rwanda, we're going to head northeast again. And over in that direction, we've got Tanzania. Quite a big plot of land. This also means we automatically get to take over Burundi. So 2 spins here. The first one goes to Gallagher. And the next one goes to Moore. They both go up by 1 overall. And now our next direction of attack from Tanzania is southeast. And over that way, we've got Mozambique. So we get to take over that land as well. This is really good because we basically surrounded all these other countries. If we can take over South Africa next, we can automatically conquer all these other ones. But first for Mozambique, the +1 goes to Brennan. He goes up to 67. And now the next direction is west, northwest. And over in that direction, we've got Zimbabwe. So with Zimbabwe taking over, we can also take over Zambia and Malawi. So now the first +1 goes to Osam. The second one goes to Bihan. And the third one goes to Kinsella Bishop. They all receive their +1 upgrades. And now from this position, our next direction of attack is north. And straight north, we hit Uganda. From Uganda, the +1 goes to Kinsella Bishop. So our former starting striker goes up to 59. And the arrow keeps us in Africa. Going slightly southwest, we hit Botswana. And once we take over Botswana, might as well take over South Africa, Lesotho, and Eswatini as well. So we get to spin the wheel 4 more times. The first lands on Barr, the second on Norris, the third on Higgins, and the fourth spin on Moore. And with all these amazing upgrades, UCD AFC is now 2.5 stars. If I'm not mistaken, I think we get 50 upgrades in Africa. We can take all the countries one by one. But let's see if the arrow will keep us in Africa. It does. Over in that direction, we've got Kenya. As long as we can stay in Africa and get all the upgrades first, that would be better, as Higgins gets the +1 here. Now, from Kenya, our next direction is north. And over in that direction, we've got Ethiopia. Now, because we've conquered so many countries at this point, I want you to type in the comments, UCD took over my country at whatever timestamp. I'd be really curious to see where you guys are watching from, as Osam gets a +1, and he goes up to 69. And now from Ethiopia, we're headed northeast. And to the northeast, we've got Eritrea. And I just realized Somalia was split into half for some reason. So this is Somalia. And we're going to take them over, as well as Djibouti. We're now really close to Saudi Arabia. I don't want to spoil things too much, but if you haven't seen the Barcelona takeover, some interesting things happened in Saudi Arabia. But first, we need to distribute +3 overall to 3 different players. Brennan gets the first one. The second one goes to Bab. And the third +1 goes to Higgins. They each go up by 1 overall. And now our next direction of attack is northeast. I got excited for a second that we're gonna play a match, but over in that direction we've got Yemen. But it's a good thing. At least we get another free upgrade, and that upgrade goes to Gallagher. He goes up to 74. And our next direction of attack is southwest. So we're not quite ready to play a match yet, because in that direction we've got South Sudan. So we keep collecting those +1s, and it goes to Dignam this time. He goes up to 56. And the next direction is northwest. So this time we take Sudan, and the +1 from here goes to Bar. He goes up to 63 overall. And from Sudan, our next direction is northeast. So this time we've actually got a match on our hands, and it looks like we have to play the Saudi champions Al Hilal. After all these upgrades, this is what our team currently looks like. Keen and Moore, they're rated 78, but Al Hilal is a really strong side. And we shock everybody. O'Connor with both goals. He scored in the 86th and won it for us. What a terrible performance from the Saudi champions. Look at their match ratings. Now at this point, if you haven't seen the Barcelona takeover, you guys have to go see it. But we now move into heart of Saudi Arabia, and we spin the wheel for a +3 overall, and it goes to Keen. Dara Keen is now rated 81 overall. And now our next direction of attack is west. Even though it's slightly north, we go and hit Al Hazm, skipping Al Tawun. And for the first time, I think we're going to be playing a weaker side than we are. Can we make it 2 in Saudi Arabia? Yes, we can. Doyle scored in the 84th. So we say goodbye to Al Hazm. That's our second win in Saudi Arabia. And then the +3 goes to Bar. He's now rated 66. And now our next direction of attack is northeast. And over in that direction, we find Altai. They're also only 1.5 stars, but we lose to them. Well, it doesn't really come as a surprise because we've been beating bigger teams as well. As Wells gets a downgrade. He goes down to 70 overall. And now our next direction of attack is west, meaning we get to take over Egypt. So we move back into Africa, and the +1 goes to Higgins. This guy has gotten lucky with the wheel. Now we're in a really interesting position in Egypt because we could be attacking teams in Turkey, we could be attacking teams in Greece, or possibly more Saudi teams. We could take more land in Western Africa. So the arrow is pointing southwest, which means more land. We now take over Libya, and the Libyan +1 goes to Gallagher, another player that's gotten really lucky with the wheel. Now from Libya, we're attacking east. Well, it's actually southeast, and over in that direction we've got Al Wehda. It looks like they got someone from Fiverr to design their logo. To be fair, it actually looks pretty fire. And we beat them 4-2. So all we need is one more win in Saudi Arabia to take it over, and the upgrade here goes to Behan. He's now rated 74. Now from this position in Saudi Arabia, our next direction of attack is southwest. So it seems like we're taking our time in Saudi Arabia because over in this direction we've got the Central African Republic, and the +1 from here goes to Osam, and he goes up to 70 overall. Now from here we're headed west, and straight west from our logo we've got Cameroon, and the +1 from Cameroon goes to Kinsella Bishop. He goes up to 60 overall. Now because we've taken over Cameroon, we've got these 3 countries that we've surrounded, so we'll take them over: the Republic of the Congo, Gabon, and Equatorial Guinea. They all become part of our land, and we spin the wheel 3 times. The first one is Moore, the second +1 is Kinsella Bishop, and the third +1 is Gallagher. So our team keeps on improving. And now from Western Africa, we go back northeast, and it appears as though we want to finish the job in Saudi Arabia. It's Al Tawun. Luckily it wasn't Ittihad. Al Tawun's a 2-star side, and the conquest of Saudi Arabia is complete. We win it 2-1. So we say goodbye to Al Tawun, take over their land, and we say goodbye to every other team in Saudi Arabia as we finalize the conquest. First we spin for the +3, and it goes to Norris. He goes up to 57, and everybody else in the squad, including Norris, go up by 1 overall. And now with all these upgrades, we're now a 3-star side. The future looks pretty bright. I think at this point, I don't think we can lose 5 matches in a row, but you never know. So let's keep spinning, and we're attacking northwest, and over in that direction, we've got Jordan, and the +1 from here goes to Higgins. He goes up to 66 overall, and our next direction of attack is northwest, and northwest of us, we've got Palestine. So we take over Palestine's land when I forget this border, as well as this one right here. The +1 from here goes to Doyle. The man finally gets an upgrade. He goes up to 73. And now from our position in the Middle East, we're attacking east, and east of us we find Iraq. So that's a lot of land, and it looks like we've surrounded Kuwait, so we'll take them over as well. So now it's 2 spins. The first one goes to Kinsella Bishop, and the second +1 goes to Clancy. Kinsella Bishop goes up to 63, and Clancy goes up to 64. Next, we're going to be attacking south. Now this is a huge curveball because south, slightly east, we've got Madagascar. So we'll come all the way and take over Madagascar, but we also have to base our next attack from Madagascar. Firstly, the +1 goes to Behan. He moves up to 76. And now from Madagascar, our direction of attack is west. So drawing the straight line, we hit Argentina. We have to play Arsenal FC. Arsenal is a 2-star side, and we beat them 5-1. Brennan with 2 goals, O'Connor with 2 goals, Behan had a goal. What a way to make an entrance into Argentina. Now, the +3 from this win goes to Brennan. He deservedly goes up to 72. And now, let's see where the arrow's gonna point. It's pointing southwest. So we stay in Argentina, and we're gonna be attacking Gymnasia, or Gimnasia, a 2.5-star side. And we beat them as well. Great start in Argentina. We take over Gimnasia's land. And now we're neighbors with Argentinian students. I'm pretty sure some of these teams are also university-based. Next, the +3 goes to Behen. He goes up to a 79. This guy's gotten lots of upgrades as of late. And so now our next direction of attack is northeast. So it looks like we're gonna leave Argentina alone for a second, because we have to go over to Uruguay to play Club Nacional. Nacional is a 3-star side, and we beat them 1-0. Man, we've been on a roll lately. We take over some land in Uruguay now, and we give the +3 overall upgrade to Ghiellini. This is good because our center backs were starting to look a little weak, so the captain goes up to 75. And now our next direction of attack is southwest. So it looks like we're heading back down to Argentina to attack Estudiantes. Now they're a half-star better than us, and we lose it 2-1. So sadly, one player has to get a -3, and that's Norris. This guy's been the definition of inconsistency. He goes down to 55. Now our next direction of attack is northeast. And northeast of us, we've got the most decorated side in Uruguay. Peñarol are a 3-star side, and we beat them 2-0. So that's now 2 wins in Uruguay. And also north of us, we've got a Brazilian side. But first, let's collect the +3 overall upgrade, and it goes to Gallagher. This guy's improving like a beast. He goes up to 80. And now let's see if the arrow points somewhere north. It doesn't. It pointed more westwards, and we skip DFC. We play LFC. LFC is Liverpool FC from Uruguay, and we win the match in penalties. So that's 3 in a row in Uruguay, and we move further west. We're now neighbors with River Plate, only a win away from conquering another nation. And Doyle gets the +3. Our striker's now rated 76 overall. And our next direction of attack is southeast. So we're gonna look to take out Uruguay. This is Danubio FC. They're a 2.5-star side, not counting the ones from their logo. And the conquest is complete. Doyle missed a penalty, but he redeemed himself getting the winner. So we say goodbye to DFC as well as this team and this team. And we conquer Uruguay, or Uruguay. So first off, the +3 goes to O'Connor. I don't think this kid has ever received a downgrade. He goes up to 71. Remember, at the start, this kid was rated only 49 along with Izakor. Izakor's still only at 55 overall. Also, besides the +3 to O'Connor, everybody else in the squad goes up by 1 overall, which also means we're now officially a 3.5-star team. And now our next direction of attack is southwest. So it looks like for our 3rd win in Argentina, we have to play against Boca Juniors. Boca is a 4-star side, and we lose to them 3-2. So the downgrade goes to Kini, as our captain goes back to being 72 overall. Let's try again. The next direction of attack is southwest again. I think the arrow heard me because it's gonna be Boca Juniors. And they beat us again, 4-2 this time. So it's a second downgrade, and this time it's to our goalkeeper. So more goes down to 77. And now our next direction of attack is northwest. And over in that direction, surprisingly, we're gonna have to play against Internacional just by a hair. They're a 3.5-star side. Remember, if we win this, we take over Brazil. And we win it! Kini scores in the 88th minute, which means we get to take over Brazil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 territories are now ours. One player will get the +3, and that goes to Brennan. He goes up to 75 overall, and everybody else, including Brennan, get +1. After the 2 losses to Boca, we were down to 3 stars, but we're back to 3.5 stars. Now let's keep attacking. Do we stay in South America? We do. The direction is southwest, so drawing the line, it's gonna be Boca Juniors again, and we lose a 3rd straight match to them. So the player to receive the next downgrade is Barr. He goes down to 65. Now, as you know, the rule is if we lose 5 in a row, that's where we lose the challenge. But I just thought of something. If we lose 5 in a row to the same team, it won't matter if it's 5 straight losses or 5 losses in total. So in this case, Boca's beaten us a total of 3 times, but in between, we beat Internacional. So we're currently on a 1-match losing streak, but it's a 3-match losing streak to Boca Juniors. So if it's one specific team that beats beats us 5 times, we'll also lose the challenge there. Let's see if we're gonna be attacking Boca Juniors. It could be, but I don't think it's south enough. So it looks like we're playing this team, Patronato. They're a 1.5-star Argentinian side, and we managed to beat them. So luckily it wasn't Boca or River Plate that we had to play against, as we finally get our 3rd win in Argentina. And the player now to be upgraded is Clancy. He goes up to 68 overall. And now our next direction of attack is southwest. And over in that direction we find Rosario Central. They're a 3-star side, but they beat us 3-0. So things have not been easy in Argentina, and Wells gets a -3. He goes down to 69. And now our next direction of attack is south, and it's not east enough, so we have to play Rosario Central one more time. And they beat us again, this time in extras. So 3 losses to Boca, 2 losses to Rosario Central. Isacor gets a downgrade. The poor kid's never gonna reach his potential at this rate. And now the next direction is southwest again. So the 3rd match against Rosario Central is a loss as well. That's just incredible. 3 losses against Boca, 3 losses against Rosario. It's Wells again. He goes down to 66 overall, which now means it's time for a change because Wells is now lower rated than Clancy. So Clancy gets the starting 11 role. And now let's see if the arrow will point southwest. Again, it doesn't. Instead, it points towards San Lorenzo. Now, San Lorenzo is a 3.5-star side. This could be even worse. We're on a 3-match losing streak, but we beat San Lorenzo 1-0. We were really cutting it close against Rosario. Luckily, we get this win to end the streak, but we have to beat Rosario next time we face them. Same thing goes for Boca Juniors. The +3 here goes to Higgins. But wait a minute, this was our 4th win in Argentina. So we won't have to play against Boca Junior or Rosario Central or any other teams for that matter in Argentina, because the conquest is complete. We take over all these lands, but we really cut it close here. So Higgins goes up to 70 overall, and just as before, the whole squad gets a +1 upgrade for the conquest. We've still got 5 countries left to conquer in South America, so our next direction of attack is northwest. So we head over into Chile. Cobresal is a 2.5-star side, and we beat them 3-0. An easy win for a change, so the +3 goes to Isacor, so he now goes up to 57. Our next direction of attack from our position in Chile is northeast. And over in that direction, we head into Paraguay. We have to play Club Libertad. They're a decent side, 3.5 stars, and we lose the match 2-1. So this unfortunately means a -3 downgrade to more. Our goalkeeper goes down to 76 overall. Now our next direction of attack is southeast. It's mostly south, so we hit Universidad Católica. This university team is 3 stars, and we also lose to them 3-2. Lots of losses as of late. The next player to be downgraded is Bab. He goes down to 58, and this time we're going to be attacking north. It's north but slightly east, so it's the Bolivian side, the strongest. Are they really the strongest? Well, it doesn't appear to be so. We take them out 1-0. They had no chances, and we finally get a positive result as we move north. The +3 we receive goes to Dignam. He goes up to 62, and now our next direction of attack is northeast. Well, it's mostly east. It's this team, Palma Flor. They're only 1.5 stars, and we beat them 4-1. So that's another chunk of Bolivia that we take, and the +3 we get goes to O'Connor. He's now rated 76, and the next team we have to face is north, and straight north of us we've got Bolivar. They're a 2.5-star Bolivian side, and they beat us 4-2. So it's a bump in the road in Bolivia as well. Kini goes down by 3. The captain's now 71 rated, and our next direction of attack is north again, and this time we lose to Bolivar on penalties. So this is another -3 downgrade, and it goes to Norris. Mr. Inconsistency goes down to 54. Now I really hope we get Bolivar again, and the direction is northwest, so it looks like we're still gonna play against them. And they beat us again, 2-1. A 2.5-star side has beaten us 3 in a row. Isacor gets a downgrade. He goes down to 54. And now our next direction of attack is northwest again, and simming our 4th match against Bolivar. We lose it once again, 2-1 the score. So this is our worst performance so far against any side, and Keen gets a -3. He goes down to 81. So our back is against the rope, and the next direction is northwest. Is it north enough to hit Bolivar? This line is right through the arrow, and it looks like it's closer to Bolivar's border. So we'll have to count this as Bolivar. So either we keep going here or we lose the challenge in Bolivia. And 3... I didn't even get to finish counting down, but we win it on penalties. 3-all the score. Behin took it to penalties in extra time. Man, what a menace of a side was Bolivar. We finally take them over. Well, we can also erase this border. They beat us 4 times straight, but we won the 5th. Wells gets a +3. He goes up to 70 overall, and he also goes back into the starting 11. We have 3 wins in Bolivia, and our next direction of attack is west. And over in that direction, we've got Deportivo Binacional. They're a Peruvian side, and we beat them 4-0. We had previously beaten UCV, so this is a second win against the Peruvian side, and Moore gets the +3. He goes up to 79. And now our next direction of attack is southeast. But first, we have to erase Deportivo Binacional from the map, and then of course move our logo there. And now southwest from this position, we're gonna hit Oriento Petrolero. They're only 1.5 stars, or 16 stars depending on who you ask. And we beat them 2-1, which means we've now conquered Bolivia, as this was our 4th win. So blooming Santa Cruz goes, Guabira goes as well. We take over all this land. All these South American countries have been a menace to deal with. First, the +3 goes to Ghiellini. He goes up to 74. And then everybody else, including Ghiellini, get the +1 overall upgrade for the Bolivian conquest. Now in South America, only 4 countries remain. For example, Paraguay is completely surrounded. And then there's Chile, Peru, and Ecuador. So instead of ping-ponging around the map, I'm thinking we start with Paraguay and try to win 4 matches. And to determine who to play against, we're spinning this wheel, and it's Cerro Portano in the south. They're 2.5 stars, and we beat them 2-0. The player to receive an upgrade is Clancy. He goes up to 73 overall, so he moves back into the starting 11. And now the next team we have to attack in Paraguay is Sportivo Ameliano. They're up here in the middle, only a 1.5 star side, and we beat them 3-1. The +3 goes to O'Connor, meaning he goes up to 80 overall. And now the third team we have to face is Club Tacuari. They're right here north of us, only rated 1.5 stars, and we also win this match. And the player to receive the +3 is Kinsella Bishop. He goes up to 69. So at this point, I think the 4th match we should just play against Club Libertad, because they had beaten us before. They are by far the strongest Paraguay side, and they beat us 3-2, meaning now one player gets a downgrade, and that's Wells. He goes down to 68 overall. So that's our second loss against Club Libertad, and we're gonna keep playing against them. And we finally beat them in our 3rd match. And apparently with 10 men, O'Connor had a red card in the 6th minute, which means we get to erase the rest of the teams from the map. We've conquered Paraguay. Now we'll just go south to Chile, but first the upgrade goes to Wells. He goes back to being 71 overall, and also everybody in the squad receives the +1 upgrade. And this also means we're now rated 4 stars. I was wondering about this earlier, and now we finally reached 4 stars. So now next up, we've got the Chilean sides in the wheel, and the first team we have to face is Universidad Católica, and they have already beaten us once, and they beat us again. So it's not a good start in Chile, and looks like Behin loses 3 overall. He goes down to 80. Now the next team we have to face is Colo Colo. Colo Colo is a 3.5 star side, and we also lose to them. So that's 2 losses in Chile, and Keen loses 3 overall. He goes down to 83. And now our 3rd match will be against Audax. Audax Italiano is a 2-star side, and we also lose to them. Make it 3 losses in a row in Chile, and Keen gets the -3 again. The legend is just melting away. He's now rated 80 overall. Well, now the 4th team we have to face is Audax again. We're also back down to 3.5 stars, but this time we beat Audax, so our losing streak finally comes to an end at least. This is also our 2nd win in Chile. We had beaten Cobresal previously. Wells gets the +3. He goes up to 75 overall, so he goes back into the starting 11. And now the next team we have to face is Magallanes. They're only a 2-star side, and we beat them 3-1. So now we're on a roll against Chilean sides, and the +3 goes to Kinsella Bishop. He's been improving quite well. He goes up to 73. And also looking at the starting 11, I wonder who's going to be the highest rated player at the end of the video. As for now, it's Gallagher at 84. King used to be 86. But the next team we have to face is Universidad Católica. They've beaten us twice already, but we don't lose for a 3rd time. We win it 3-1. And that was our 4th win in Chile, as we erase Universidad Católica. Colo Colo, Palestino, and Nublense can also be erased. And now we move north up to Peru. But first, the +3 goes to Clancy, meaning he goes up to 77. So he kicks Wells out of the starting 11 again. And also everyone receives the +1 for the Chile conquest. Now in Peru, there are 4 teams that we can attack. We can't attack this team since we don't have a border with them. That's why there are only 4 teams on the wheel, and we have to attack Melgar first. Melgar's 2.5 stars, and we beat them on penalties. And this was our 3rd win in Peru. All we need is 1 more win. The +3 upgrade goes to Higgins. He goes up to 77. Now we can add Universitario to the wheel. So we spin again with 4 teams on there, and this is Cienciano. If we beat them, it's over for Peru, and we conquer Peru. That makes it 4 wins. We erase Cienciano and Lima and this team and Universitario. Now the last country step standing in South America is Ecuador. They're actually the last country standing in the Americas as a whole. But first we have to give a +3 and it goes to Gallagher. So our highest rated goes up to 88 overall. He's very close to becoming our first 90 plus player. With the +1 to everybody, he's now rated 89. Now it's time to focus on Ecuador. We can't attack Delphin, so that's why there are 6 teams in this wheel, not 7. And the first team is Deportivo Cuenca. It's a 2.5 star side, and we take them out 3-0. Now the +3 goes to Brennan. He goes up to 84. Our next opponent is Emelec. They're a 3-star side, and we make it 2 in a row in Ecuador. With this win, we get a border with Delphin. I'll add them to the wheel in a second, but Izakor gets a +3. He goes up to 61 overall. And the next team we have to face is Barcelona. No, not that Barcelona, but this 3.5 star Barcelona. And we beat them 2-1. This time the +3 goes to Izakor again. He's now rated 64. And the next team we have to face is Delphin. Delphin's only 2 stars. And it's a clean sweep in Ecuador. Delphin's erased and everybody else can get erased as well, which means we've conquered South America completely. The +3 goes to Dignam. He goes up to 69. And also everybody gets the +1 for the Ecuador conquest. And this also means Gallagher's now rated 90 overall. And we're now a 4.5 star side. Now back to spinning the arrow. It needs to point somewhere east. It pointed slightly southeast. Now southeast from where I placed our logo, it goes and hits Australia, Adelaide United FC more specifically. They're only a 1.5 star side, but they beat us 2-1. And they missed a penalty on top of that. But apparently we were down to 10 men. So it's a bit of an embarrassing loss as Doyle loses 3 overall. So he goes down to 80. We're gonna try once again with the arrow. Again, it has to point somewhere east, and it does. But this time is northeast. So it looks like we're moving back into Africa. This is Mauritania. We take them over, and Wells will get a +1. He goes up to 79. Now our next direction of attack is west, northwest, and slightly northwest from the center of our logo. We do hit Morocco, so we take them over. It's another +1. This time it goes to Keene. Our CDM goes up to 84. Now something happened to my recording. The next direction of attack was northeast, and over in that direction when I drew the arrow, we had to play against the Spanish side Granada, and we ended up beating them 3-2. So we come back into Europe with a win against the La Liga side, because Granada in FC24 is a La Liga side. So when we spin the wheel for a +3, goes to Brennan. He goes up to 88 overall. And now our next direction of attack is north, and over in that direction we've got Albacete. They're a La Liga high promotion side, and we beat them 3-1. So it looks like it's gonna be smooth sailing in Spain, but we've got Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid up north. But first the +3 here goes to Norris. He goes up to 62. And now our next direction of attack is north again, and it looks like we're gonna have to play against Getafe. Getafe or Getafe are a 4-star side, but we beat them 3-0. So that's 3-4-3 in Spain, and now we're neighbors with Real Madrid, a team that can easily end us. So we need a really good upgrade right here, and it goes to a substitute, Bar. Bar goes up to 74 overall. And now our next direction of attack is indeed, is it? Well, it honestly is. It's Real Madrid. But a win would be our 4th in Spain, so we would conquer the entire country. But Real Madrid is Real Madrid. And we are UCD AFC. We win it in extra time. Doyle sent it into extras, and Keane won it right at the end. Unbelievable performance from our team as we erase Real Madrid and take over their land. And all these other Spanish side get erased, and we conquer Spain. Now the +3 will go to O'Connor. He goes up to 87, and everybody goes up by 1 overall. I'm not sure if it's enough to make us a 5-star team, and apparently it wasn't. We're still a 4.5 star side, but we're looking really solid. I don't think at this point anybody can beat us 5 times in a row. So I think it's time to modify that rule, and going forward I'll modify it as we go, as we gain stars. So let's say when we're rated 3 stars, we'll have to lose 5 matches in a row for us to lose the challenge. If we move up to 4 stars, we'll have to lose 4 in a row. And then 4.5 stars, 5 stars. I think 3 losses in a row makes more sense now. So if we lose 3 in a row, or a single team gets 3 wins on us, that's where we'll end the challenge at this point. Now with this in mind, our next direction of attack is north. So from our logo this way towards the northeast, we hit Nantes. They're a 3.5 star side, and we beat them 2-1. So this means we move back into France. It's been a while since we've been here. This is our 2nd win. If you'll remember, we actually have some land up north. The +3 now goes to Osam. He goes up to 82. And now our next direction of attack is east, and over that way we've got Angers. This Ligue 2 side is 3 stars, and we beat them 4-3. So this is our 3rd win in France as we take over Angers' land. land. And the +3 goes to Bar. He goes up to 78. And now our next direction of attack is northwest. And over in that direction, we've got a pretty strong side. Rennais. Stade Rennais are a 4-star side. And we win it 3-1. So they can't stop the Irish conquest either, as UCD AFC takes over their land as well as the rest of France. So first the +3 goes to Norris. He goes up to 66. And the whole squad gets upgraded by 1 overall. We now have 2 players rated above 90. Alright, let's keep attacking. We've got lots of teams in Europe. Let's see where the arrow will point. And it points east. And in that direction, we've got the Swiss side, Yverdon. It's a 1.5-star team. And we managed to beat them on penalties. 4-4 the scoreline. What a match. It was Doyle sending it into extras and then Doyle sending it into penalties. And then he scored his penalty. So you should be very proud if you're an Yverdon sports supporter. Let me know in the comments if you support this team. That would probably be the randomest comment. But the +3 here goes to Behin. He goes up to 87. Now our next direction of attack from here is north. And from our position here, we end up hitting the only empty piece of land around. This is Luxembourg and we take it over. And Bab gets the +1. He goes up to 66. I think at this rate, every player is going to be rated 99 overall by the end. We get northeast. And over in that direction, we've got our chance to end Germany. Kaiserslautern's a 3-star side. And it's game over for Germany. This was our 4th win against the German side. So we take over Kaiserslautern's land and also erase Germany from the map. Now for the win, the +3 goes to Wells. He goes up to 84 overall. So he replaces our captain in the starting 11. And then the whole squad gets a +1. Now with the German conquest complete, our next direction of attack is west. And west from the center of our logo is Genk. Oh, and by the way, we're now officially a 5-star side. We've made it. At this point, we have to take over the world. We've previously lost 2 matches against Belgian sides. And we lose a 3rd. Now the -3 will go to O'Connor. He goes down to 87. Now I wonder if we do end up taking the world, which country will be the last one standing? Let's keep going. The next direction of attack is southwest. And over in that direction, we've got KAS UPenn. They're only a 2-star side. And we beat them 3-0. So now the +3 goes to Gallagher. The best right back in the world goes up to 96. And now our next direction of attack is west. And straight west, we've got Standard Liège. They're a 3-star side. And we win the match 2-0. We get yet another +3, which goes to our goalkeeper. And now he's rated 90 overall. Now the next direction of attack is east, southeast. So we're going to be leaving Belgium alone for the moment and heading south towards Austria. Tyrol is a 2-star side. And we win the match 3-0. And look, Isakor got a goal. And the +3 goes to Kinsella Bishop. He now goes up to 83. Remember, he used to be our starter and he's back in the starting lineup now. He's rated the same as Doyle. So I'm just going to put Kinsella Bishop in the starting 11 again. And from Austria, we're going to be attacking northeast. We're now traveling around Europe like I show speed. We're heading into Czech Republic, have to play Pilsen. Victoria Pilsen's a 3.5-star side. And we beat them 2-1. Kinsella Bishop getting both goals. What a way to make a return into the starting 11. So now the +3 will go to Keane. He goes up to 90 overall. And from our position in Czechia, we're heading south. Slightly southwest to be specific, to play against Lask. They're a 3-star side. And we beat them 4-2. So this was our 2nd win in Austria. So now the +3 goes to Dignam. He moves up to 76. The next direction of attack is southwest. And over in that direction, we've got the best Austrian team. Red Bull Salzburg are a 3.5-star side, but they're no match for us. So they're also erased from the map. The next +3 goes to Bab. He goes up to 70. And the next direction of attack is southwest. And southwest of us is Austria Klagenfurt, only a 2-star side. And the Austrian conquest is complete. Goodbye to Klagenfurt and every other Austrian team. The takeover is now complete. Now, the +3 goes to Keeney. He goes up to 85. And at this point, we're going to stop with the conquest bonus of +1 to every player because we're already such a strong team and there are 14 or 15 other countries remaining. That'll just be a +14, 15 overall for free, basically. If you have any suggestions as to how to balance this concept, let me know in the comments. Because we were such a weak team at the beginning, I thought giving a +3 would give us a fair chance. But in the end game right here, it seems to be making us a little bit too overpowered. Clancy's gonna go out. Keeney's back in the lineup. He takes back the captain's armband. And now our next direction of attack is east. And over that way, we've got the only Hungarian side, Ferencváros. They're a 3.5-star side. And we beat them 4-2. So I'm glad I just made that rule change because it would have been absurd to give a +1 to every single player for just beating one team. Because in one goal, we've just conquered Hungary. We'll still keep giving the +3. It goes to Dignam. He goes up to 79 overall. And now from this position, we're going to be heading south. And over that that way, we've got Serbia that's empty. Now, because there are still so many empty countries remaining, I'm also gonna get rid of that +1 overall upgrade whenever we take over an empty piece of land. So all we do here is take over Serbia and move our logo south. And then the next direction of attack is southwest. And southwest of us, we first hit Bosnia. So we now just move west. And I just realized this is still Croatia, so we'll just give that to Dinamo Zagreb. And now our next direction of attack is west. Since it's slightly northwest, we have to play against Dinamo Zagreb. They're a 3.5 star side, and we beat them 3-2. We move a little bit further northwest, and the player to receive a +3 is our goalkeeper. He goes up to 93, and the next direction of attack is south. It's slightly east, but we still hit Hajduk Split, and we beat them 1-0. They were also rated 3.5 stars, by the way, so we take over Croatia. The +3 now goes to Clancy. He goes up to 86. The next direction we have to go is northeast, and over that way we've got Romania. Specifically, we hit Utah. Utah's a 1.5 star side, and I don't think in Romania any of these teams can beat us at this point, so we'll just play their strongest team. If we win this, we take over Romania, and we win it. So in a single move, Romania becomes ours. We'll give 1 +3 for the win, and it goes to Brennan. He goes up to 94. Our next direction of attack is southwest, and over in that direction, we're heading into Italy to face Ascoli. They're a 2.5 star side, and we beat them 2-1. It did take extra time though. Kinsella Bishop had both goals, and the +3 goes to Behan. He's now rated 91, and the next direction we'll attack is south. Even though it's slightly east, we'll still be hitting Roma. Roma is a 4.5 star side, but they're no match for the mighty UCD. We beat them in extras. So this is our second win in Italy as we become neighbors with Lazio. The +3 from the Roma win goes to Gallagher, which means he becomes our first player to reach 99 overall. And now the next direction we'll be attacking in is northwest. I thought it'd be Ternana, but it's Lazio. Lazio are also 4.5 stars, and we beat them in extras as well. So the Italian teams are trying to put up a fight, but I think it's too little too late. We keep spinning the wheel to give the +3 to Higgins this time. He goes up to 85. And the next direction of attack is northwest. And over in that direction, we've got Fiorentina. And we complete the Italian conquest with a 2-1 win. Goodbye to Fiorentina, goodbye to Ternana, and goodbye to all of Italia. Now, because we've completely surrounded Slovenia, we'll take them over. Oh, and let's not forget about the mighty San Marino. We take them over as well. We have to give a +3, and that goes to Wells. He goes up to 88, and he also goes back into the starting 11. There's been a healthy competition between our center backs for a while now. We'll make Gallagher the captain now, since he's the GOAT. And we're ready for our next position, which is west. So it seems like we're heading into Portugal, and the team we have to face is Chaves. And they beat us 3-1. So Portugal wants to claim the title of last country standing. Brennan goes down by 3. He's now 91 overall. So now our next direction of attack is northeast, and going in the opposite direction lands us in Montenegro. So we spin once again, and this time we're heading southeast. So we'll be taking over Bulgaria, and from Bulgaria our next direction of attack is southeast, which means we have to face the Turkish side Başakşehir. They're a 3.5 star side, and we beat them 1-0. So our one match losing streak comes to an end here as we enter Turkey, and we'll surely be attacking another Turkish team from this position. But first, the +3 goes to Higgins. He goes up to 85, and the team we'll be attacking is north of us. Well, I want to say northwest, so that's Galatasaray. The reigning Turkish champions are 4 stars, and we beat them 3-2. So we get our second win against the highest rated Turkish team. The +3 will have to go to Gallagher, but we can't really improve him anymore. So we'll just continue with our attack, and the next direction is south. And there's only one team right there, Kasımpaşa. They're only a 2-star side, and they're gone. We win the match 2-1. The next +3 goes to Behan. He goes up to 94. And our next direction of attack is southeast, and it looks like we'll be attacking Fenerbahçe. They're a 4-star side, and we beat them 3-1. So that was our 4th win in Turkey, which means we get to conquer the whole country. We erase all the other teams from the map and paint it blue. And now Syria and Lebanon are stuck in between, so we'll just take them over as well. The +3 from the Fenerbahçe win goes to Doyle. He goes up to 86 and goes back into the starting 11. And from this position in Turkey, we're headed north. And over in that direction, it looks like we're going to be taking over Russia. There we go. We'll just move ourselves up north here, and we spin the arrow once again to go southeast, meaning we now take over Georgia. So one more spin of the arrow, and it points northeast, and over to the northeast we've got Kazakhstan. So we take them over, and we spin the arrow again, and this time it's west. And it looks like it's more empty land. This is Belarus, we take it over. And now from this spot, we have to go northwest, and that's one more piece of empty land, which is Lithuania. This is Russia, this is ours as well. And we might as well just take over Latvia and Estonia since we have them completely surrounded. And from here, our next direction of attack is west. So it's just been straight west for 3 or 4 turns. We'll hit Mialbi. Mialbi is a 1-star site, so just like we did with Romania, we'll play Malmö. That's the highest rated team in Sweden. And if we win this match, we take over the entire country, and it ends 3-0. So we say goodbye to Sweden and take it over. And the +3 we get from here goes to Ghiellini. He goes up to 88. And now our next direction of attack from Sweden is northeast. And over in that direction, we've got Helsinki. They're only a 1.5-star side, and we beat them 2-0. Dignum scored both goals. So Finland is now the land of Dignum. But let's follow the rules and spin the wheel. And it lands on Ghiellini again. The captain goes up to 91. And from the land of Dignum, we'll be attacking northwest. And over that way, we've got Tromsø. They're just 1.5 stars, so we'll just play the toughest Norwegian side. And we beat them 2-1. So we say goodbye to Norway as well. The Norwegian +3 goes to Brennan. He goes up to 94. And now I have one more idea. Because all these countries that remain are so far apart from each other, I've put the strongest team from each league in this wheel. So we're going to determine the team we attack next with it. And it's Lech Poznan. Lech Poznan are the strongest Polish side. So if we beat them, we get Poland. And we beat them 3-0. Doyle got a hat trick. So Poland becomes land of Doyle. But we have to keep it fair. It goes to Norris, the upgrade. He goes up to 71. And now the next team we have to attack is Young Boys. And they beat us 1-0. Could they become the side that takes us out? I mean, it's scary to think about at this point. But Brennan gets a -3. He goes back to 91. Now we're going to play Young Boys for a second time. And this time we beat them on penalties. So they were pretty resilient, but we say goodbye to Switzerland. And the +3 from Switzerland goes to Higgins. He goes up to 88. Now the next team we have to attack is Slavia. And we win the match 3-1. So we also erase Slavia as well as Sparta Prague. And we take over Czechia. And the +3 from this win goes to Dignum. He goes up to 82. And now our next opponent's gonna be Benfica. They're the toughest remaining opponent. And we beat them easily 3-0. So Portugal also falls. Osam gets the +3 and he goes up to 87. And next up is Shakhtar. There are only 2 Ukrainian teams and Shakhtar is a stronger one, but they're not strong enough to beat us. So we say goodbye to Ukraine as well. And at the same time, we take over Moldova as well as Slovakia. The +3 from Ukraine will be going to Bar. He goes up to 83. And now with 9 countries remaining, the next team is Melbourne City. We've previously lost to Adelaide United, if you'll remember. Melbourne City is supposed to be a stronger side. And we win it 2-1 with a late goal from Doyle. So Australia also falls. And the +3 goes to Moore. He goes up to 96 overall. The next country we have to attack is China. This is Shandong Taishan, rated 3 stars. And we beat them 2-1 as well. So the ginormous China also falls. And we automatically get to take over Mongolia as well. The +3 from China goes to Bar. He goes up to 86. Now the next team we have to face is Copenhagen. Denmark is one of the remaining 4 European countries. And they beat us 3-2. Doyle had missed a penalty. He had the other 2 goals. But Kinsella Bishop gets the downgrade. He goes down to 80. And now this is our second match against Copenhagen. And this time we win it 4-2. Doyle redeemed himself by scoring 2 goals in this match. So now the upgrade goes to Norris. He goes up to 74. And these are the final 6 teams remaining, or countries for that matter, or leagues. And it's Al Ain next. The AFC Champions League winners are 3 stars, but they come up short on penalties. We win it. So that was a pretty good effort on Al Ain's part, but we take over the UAE, which means we also get to take over Oman here. And the +3 upgrade goes to Bar. He's now rated 89. And the next country we have to attack is India. Mohun Bagan are the highest rated team. And they beat us 4-2. Wow. Well, we were down to 10 men, but still. So the -3 goes to Kinsella Bishop. He, for some reason, takes the blame for the loss. And now quick simming the second match, we win it 3-2. So we say goodbye to all the Indian teams. And this also allows us to take over Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Thailand, Pakistan, all these countries in the middle, and all these ones in Southeast Asia as well. And at this point, there's no one left to defend these remaining countries in Africa, so we'll take them over. Greece still has a chance with Albania and Macedonia, and then South Korea with North Korea and Japan. Now the +3 from the India conquest goes to Dignum. He goes up to 85. And from the final 4, the next country we have to attack is Cyprus. Apoel is a 3-star side, and we beat them 3-1. So we erase them from the map in the Mediterranean. And the next next +3 goes to Kinsella Bishop. He goes back up to 80. And I've just realized we could put Brennan at center attacking mid, and then O'Connor can come out of the lineup. Bar can actually go into the starting 11. And now from the final 3, the next team to be attacked is AEK. Will they be able to save Greece? No, they won't. Doyle scores in the 86 to win it. So Greece also falls Panathinaikos and PAOK go. And we could also now take over Macedonia and Albania. And the +3 goes to Kinsella Bishop again. What a resilient player. He goes back up to 83. And now if you're either Korean or Belgian, you're probably still watching. The next team we have to attack is Royal Antwerp. And if we take them out, Korea will be the last country remaining. Now, because we had already lost to Antwerp once, they only need 2 wins against us. And they beat us 3-1. So now Dignam gets a -3. He goes down to 82. So if we now lose this match, we will lose the challenge. And we win it 3-2. Gallagher the GOAT wins it for us in extra time. He also had one in the 63rd. So luckily we can erase Belgium from the map. And now we've only got Korea left to conquer. We can actually take over Japan and North Korea, considering we're such a massive superpower. But first, the final +3 upgrade goes to Gallagher. But because he's already rated 99, I'll just make all of his stats 99. And now one final challenge remains against Ulsan Hyundai. If we win this match, we complete the world conquest, and it's a 4-3 win. Gallagher scored 2 goals, and we did it. We take over South Korea and complete our world conquest with the worst team in FC24. If you watched this all this way, please do me a favor and hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't, and watch this one as well. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.